Hi everybody, hope you are well. Welcome to JT Health Matters channel. I'm going to take you through a mobility exercise today and also a few strengthening exercises for the back. These exercises that I'm going to teach you are some exercises that I've been teaching my beginner / refresher groups. So quite easy moves, nothing too intense, but great exercises, particularly the first one to include in your warm-up to really mobilize into the back. And then the second two are going to be exercises merely to strengthen the back. And again, not too intense, but please listen to your body. Make sure you're doing exercises that suit. Please don't strain. Often we are known, it's within us being human that we strive. So please don't strive and then strain yourself. So all you'll need for today's session is your mat and your good self. If you're on a floor like myself, which is quite a hard, solid floor, you may want, I've got 2 mats. If you've not got access to 2 mats, then perhaps have a bit of a cushion or some padding that you can take underneath your knees. And then when you are ready, make your way into all fours. So often when you are coming into all fours, you're probably often told, have your hands beneath your shoulders, knees beneath your hips. Now, if you have your hands directly underneath your shoulders, like I've just moved mine to, that is placing quite a lot of load onto my wrists. And you can look at the creases at the wrists, there's quite a lot of creases there. So there's quite a lot of flexion there going on at the wrist. So I like to step my hands a little bit further forward just to take that load off the wrist there. You may also. Now, to make sure that you're not straining into the wrist unnecessarily and taking too much load into the arms, make sure you spread your fingers wide. I always advise my groups to spread the fingers nice and wide. Take the weight there nice and equally through the fingers and each thumb. Now, I'm just going to roll my top up slightly so you can see my pelvis here. Because currently with this top, I know that you can't see it probably too well. So I'll roll my top up slightly. So from this position, just check that you're nice and comfortable. Shoulders are relaxed. You may walk your hands slightly forward like I've just mentioned and spread the weight nice and evenly through each finger and thumb on both hands. And then just allow the pelvis to relax and the back to relax. Now with this one, I try to get my groups to move with the breath. Don't worry if you're not moving when I'm saying to move, maybe with an exhalation or an inhalation. Just make sure that you are continuing to breathe and just remember that the body will breathe itself. So just taking a breath in through the nose when you are ready. As we exhale through the mouth in Pilates. We pinch the belly button back to spine to engage the deep tummy muscle wall. Then roll the chin to chest. Separate the shoulder blades to stretch out through the upper back and round. Tuck the belly or pull the belly up and tuck the bottom under. And then when you are ready, inhaling to tilt the pelvis away, so hips and bottom, push back, melt the belly, the chest to the floor, roll the shoulders and lift the gaze out in front. Okay, so we'll do a few of these. Breath out. In your own time. So rounding into the back, nice and subtly. So not striving and going to the extremes. And just let that body breathe. So we'll just do a couple more of these. So the chin needs to roll towards the chest. Separate the shoulder blades, pull the belly up, tuck the bottom under. We roll the hips or gently press the hips and the bottom back. Melt the belly to the floor, roll the shoulders back and raise the gaze forward. Last time now. Exhaling, tucking the bottom under. That's it. Keep going, rolling the head, chin to chest, separating those shoulders or shoulder blades even. Inhaling and coming into that nice lengthened from the base of the spine all the way to the crown of the head. And then all I want you to do from here is just relax back into the center. Now, in your own time, transitioning, and I always encourage my groups to transition slowly. So not racing, it's not a relay race, tucking the bottom under and then sitting back towards the heels of the feet. And then to round off completely, release the arms to the sides of the body. Now, some of my clients in my classes may be here. So when they're rounding, when they're sitting back towards the heels of their feet, the head isn't able to reach the floor. If that's you, either place a cushion or a block, if you have one, beneath the head, or even make a fist here, one hand then the other hand, and then release the head down, rather than having the head dangling, if you like. And you can be a little bit more settled because the head is a weight. And just allow yourselves a few moments here. So just coming off the wrists, coming off the hands, and just rounding. So some of you may recognize this if you do yoga. So we've just done an exercise in all fours, which is called the cat-cow pose in yoga, if you're familiar with yoga, and this is called the child's pose. All exercises, this one particularly is great for obviously rounding into the back, just stretching out through that lower back. Nice release. And the previous one in all fours is to mobilize into the back. Now we're going to come back into all fours, and if you do struggle in all fours, spending a long time there, then please come out of that position at any time. If you feel the need to, you can sit back onto the heels at any time. So we're going to come into Superman. Okay, now this is an exercise where I want you to focus on the stability around the pelvis. So as you're sliding one arm out and one leg, opposite leg, I want you to make sure you keep the pelvis nice and stable, because that is what Pilates is about, is keeping the stability, working into the core muscles, abdominal muscles, to keep the stability. So again, all fours, spread the fingers nice and wide. Make sure the weight is equal through each of the fingers and the thumb. Try not to start in this position, but instead roll the shoulders back and think about rolling the upper arms inwards. And then that just helps you to roll the shoulders back and down. Now, when you start, try not to, and I mention this because I have had beginners in my classes do this before. And if you don't know, you don't know, basically. And if you're not corrected, you're not sure. So I'm just going to mention, so if you have your head here, just make sure that the head is lifted and the neck is in line with the rest of the body. So you're going to walk on an exhalation in a moment, your left leg behind you, pointing out through to the toes, and the right arm. So right hand will come to the top of the mat, and the left leg will kick behind you. So take a breath in when you are ready. And as you exhale, I want you to suck the belly button back to spine. Walk the right hand forward. Keep the shoulder relaxed. Keep the pelvis still. And start to point through the toes as you slide that leg back. There. Okay. Watch you don't tilt the pelvis. And then inhale to come back. Exhaling, pinch up the belly button to spine. Walk the left hand forward and then slide. So I raise onto my toes here as I come off the knee and slowly begin to slide that leg behind and extend that leg behind. Good. Keep going. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling. Slide the right hand forward. Keep that shoulder from doing this. So keep the shoulders square, shoulder is back and relaxed. And then slide that left leg back. Take your time. So the idea here, or the goal, is to keep that pelvis from rocking. Now eventually, and don't worry if you don't feel ready to do so, eventually see if you can hover your arm to the side of the head. See if you can hover your arm. Point through the toes, stretch, and then slowly come down. Keep breathing. In nose, where you can, out through the mouth. So we're adopting Pilates breath. Raise the arm. Now, if you're feeling comfortable, when you come to this side, the right arm, the left leg, see if you can raise the left leg. But make sure you don't tip over to the right side and alter the hips. The hips stay square and also the shoulders stay square to the floor. Keep moving. So nice and slow. Now remember, you only raise the arm and the leg if you feel that you are at that level. If you are not at that level yet, that's okay. Just slide the hand and the foot back. So as you slide, opposite arm to opposite leg, keep the pelvis still. That's your goal, okay? If you're unable to do that and you're raising the arm and the leg, just slide the hand and the foot. We'll just do one more. So ensuring you're engaging that belly button back towards the spine. Really lengthen out through to the tips of the fingers and the toes. Last one now. Last one. Well done. Good. Inhaling to come down and then releasing back over towards the heels. Let's just bring the weight off those wrists. Well done, everybody. Circle those wrists one way and then circle the wrists the other way. Now I'm going to bring you onto your front, and this is often referred to as prone in the fitness world, if you like. So an exercise term we use when we come onto the front is known as prone position. So just lowering yourselves onto your front, I'm going to progress you into this slowly. So you've done your all fours, your Superman, opposite arm to opposite leg. We're going to now venture into a few back extensions, a few basic back extensions, and then I'll give you different levels, because everybody is at different levels. So with your exercise, one does not fit all, because everybody's body is completely different. So that's where I want you to be mindful of your level and any pre-existing injuries that you may have. Okay, let's come down. So I'm going to ask you to rest your forehead down. Legs behind you. You may want to lift one leg and then the other leg and just lengthen out through to the tips of the toes. Okay, and just relax there. Checking your pubic bone and hips are gently kissing the floor. If you need to, tuck the bottom under slightly, but keep the buttocks relaxed. Now with the hands, bring the hands onto the mat, or if you're a little bit longer limbed and you feel a bit restricted there, the arms are too close, you feel a bit restricted in the shoulders, walk the hands a bit wider. Now we're going to keep the hands on the forearms down initially. Take a breath in to prepare the body. And as we exhale, pinch up the belly button to spine. You're going to roll the shoulders back. We're going to lift and hover the head and the chest. And then slowly on a breath in, return back down to the floor. Okay, keep moving. Exhaling. Belly button to spine. So make sure the shoulders are rolling back. Squeeze the shoulder blades towards the midline of the body. And then inhale to slowly come back down. Keep moving now. So always checking in with good technique. Technique, precision, really important. Keep breathing. Breath out as we lift. Suck that belly button back towards the spine. Make sure you're working your deep core muscles or your deep abdominal wall. So the shoulders will roll forward again when you come down. Make sure you are rolling them back as you lift and hover. So that's level 1. Can we do a round of 4 more of these? 4 more. Keep moving. Now, if you're feeling strong enough and you are past a beginner level, see if you can raise your arms. But please do not keep the arms down if the back feels any strain. We'll do 3 more of these. So belly button to spine, shoulders back, lift, hover the head and the chest on an out breath. Nice, everybody. Keep going now. Keep going now. Last 2. Now, anybody that does feel any strain creeping into the lower back, please modify it. If you tried raising your arms and it's too much for your back, just replace your arms back down. Last time. So back extensions is working the posterior chain of the body. So here we're working the back. Now, as you come down, just place your hands beneath your head, make a pillow and just rest the head on the forehead or onto one side and roll off one hip onto the other hip. Just let that back settle there. So just a gentle roll off one hip onto the other hip, just to release out through that lower back. So that was basic back extension. I showed you the option with your arms down and then with your arms hovered off the floor if you want to have your arms off the floor. And again, if you're not quite ready to have your arms off the floor, build up to that. Work up to that level. So we're going to come to our swimming now. Now, for me as an instructor, I'm very aware of my body. And I have what's known as hypermobility in my body. So what I do is I bring my arms from here, from being extended fully, because sometimes I feel the strain on my shoulders, just to here. So in effect, I shorten my levers, levers being the arms. So the arms come from there to here, and it just takes the load off my shoulders. So you may want to do that as well. So remember, we did all 4s, the Superman, opposite arm to opposite leg. Now, when you raise opposite arm to opposite leg, just like you were in all 4s, I want you to think about keeping your pelvis stable. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 options. So we take a breath in here. We take a breath out. We suck the belly button back towards the spine gently. We raise the arm towards the side of the head, no higher, and then keeping the pelvis nice and stable from the hip line, begin to raise the left leg and then release it back down. Exhaling, opposite arm to opposite leg, working slowly to enable you to be precise with the technique and keep the pelvis still. That's option 1. Option 2, if your back is okay, hover your head and your chest and then come down. So keep moving with this one. So whatever level you have decided to do, stay with that. Make sure it doesn't feel strained though. And keep your pelvis still throughout. Keep going, everybody. Keep going. So the reason why we talk about, and I'm so very kind of thorough in teaching correct technique, precision, control, is because without that, it increases the risk of injury, and also we can lose the effectiveness of the exercises. Keep moving. Nice and slow, always ensuring navel is pulled back to spine. Can you do one more either side? Just one more either side. Keep breathing in nose, out, mouth. In nose, out mouth. And remember, you don't have to be hovering the head and the chest. If that's not for you, you can keep the head down. Just make sure it doesn't strain into your back. And then slowly come down, nice, slow and controlled. Making a pillow again to stack your head on top. You can roll off one hip onto the other hip, like so, with the legs out extended behind you, or you can bend into your knees. And from here, gently float your legs to the right and then to the left, just as far to bring you off one hip onto the other hip. And then when you are ready, release the legs behind you, bring the hands to the side of the chest. You can, if you want, come into another release. So one option is here, sitting back slowly to the heels of the feet, melting your lower back, your hips back towards the heels. So melting the bottom and the hips back to the heels of the feet. So that's option one. Not everybody likes being in this position. Some people find it a bit, maybe perhaps claustrophobic, or they feel it on the knees. So another option, after those repetitions that you've just done, to release out through your lower back. And don't rush to come into these stretches either. Just allow yourself the time just to kind of take yourself into them slowly. Just give the body a chance to adjust, really, rather than rushing into them. And then the second one that I often offer is this. Hugging the knees in, especially for those of my clients that don't like being on the knees. Melting either side of the sacrum to the floor and pressing the knees into the hands, hugging the knees in at the same time. Lower back stretch with the option of lifting, floating the head up, chin, chest, forehead to the knees. Just to stretch along that lower back, stretching out what you've just done there, basically. And then if you have opted for lying down, head, shoulders relaxed, feet down. To return to sitting, roll onto one side and then come to sit. So there, I gave you a warm-up in the form of a cat-cow. So if you've done yoga before, if you've had history of doing yoga, that's known as the cat-cow position. Great one for mobilizing the back and pretty safe, really safe for the back. What I would say though is, if you do have bulging discs, if you have pre-existing injuries, just don't go to the extreme. I advise everybody not to go to the extreme, just be a bit more tentative, particularly if you've got bulging discs, if you've got known history of that or any pre-existing injuries. And then we moved on to the all fours Superman. Great for weight bearing as well, great for weight bearing, particularly ladies, reducing the onset of osteoporosis, increasing the bone density there if you've got weight bearing exercises when we're in all fours. Doing opposite arm to opposite leg. And then we ventured down onto the belly to do some basic back extensions to strengthen the back. And then we had a go at prone on the front of the body, opposite arm to opposite leg. So there's some mobility and some back strengthening exercises. Give them a go. And don't forget to subscribe as well. There'll be lots more uploads coming very soon. Take care. See you again soon. Bye for now.